What the hell's going on, people? This is Periodic, and you see the title of the video. We are jumping back into Dragonball Z Dokkan Battle. We're jumping back into the 350 million worldwide global downloads reached celebration. Part 3. It's been going pretty quickly, actually, and we're getting towards the end of it, going into October, with hopefully the Super Dragon Ball Heroes banner coming out. Oh, God, I can't wait for that thing. But before we get to that fun stuff, we got to rank some LRs. More specifically, summonable LRs, the worst of the worst.
Hear my thought. I shut it down wherever power is stored. Being real is in the past, watch the cowards get on. It ain't kill me, so it's making me stronger. And these bite-sized rappers now sensing my home.
So this is going to be the bottom 25 LRs in the game. Now, the entire list, both parts, is going to be 8 tiers, if I remember correctly. Yeah, should be 8 tiers. And we're doing 25 in this video, and then either 25 or 26 in the other video. I think it's like a perfect 50. We're either at 50 or 51 LRs over on global. As you can see, you have 3 JP only LRs that we haven't gotten to yet. But 4 tiers in this video. The bottom 4, King Kai tier being the best, King Yema tier being right under that, Master Roshi tier being below that, and then obviously Farmer with a Shotgun tier being the worst of the worst. So keep in mind a few things. Number 1, this is a global tier list only. You will not see those 3 JP exclusive units down there. This is also summonable LRs. You will not see any free-to-play units on here either. And then last but not least, the order that the units go on in a tier does not matter. I think they're all relative to each other. If they're on the same tier, I think certain things may be better on one unit that evens out on another unit, hence why they're on the same tier, but they're not number 1, number 2, number 3. So without further ado, let's start this list up. And you can't start a list on global without putting Goten and Trunks at the bottom barrel. So in my opinion, right now they are the worst LR in the game, summonable on both global and Japan, since they still for some reason don't have their Extreme Z Awakening, but you know, we'll get there eventually. These guys, if you're doing 12 key, will actually lower your own attack. They're the only LR that does this, which is just ridiculous. If you're able to get the 18 key, then you will do decent damage. You raise your defense on your 12 and greatly raise attack and defense on the, you greatly raise defense on the 18 key, but that's 70% of the time. And then the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, you'll greatly raise attack and defense. That only happens 30% of the time. I forget how RNG this character is. It actually drives me nuts. He also can get anywhere from 3 to 9 key randomly. Yes, it's random. He can get 3 key one turn, 6 key the other turn, 7 key the next turn, 8 key the next turn, or 4 key the next turn. It's just a whole mess. And he gives himself 120% when super attacking. Now, what are the issues? Well, very obviously, he's got 0 defense. None at all, right? The only defense he has in his links, and they are Shocking Speed, 5% defense, and Shattering the Limit, 5% defense. So 10%, whoa, big stuff. If you're not doing 18 key super attacks, then you're not gaining any defensive bonus at all. And even on the 18 key, that's only 30% or an even smaller chance of doing 50%, not necessarily cutting it, in my opinion. So definitely deserves to be at the bare bottom. Again, even though I think he's the worst LR, him being number 1 doesn't necessarily, matter, right? Because another unit who's losing because he has no defense is Super Saiyan 2 Intelligence Gohan before Z Awakening. And keep in mind, Global has not gotten the Z Awakening yet. This dude's an offensive juggernaut, don't get me wrong, right? Mega Colossal damage on the 12 key, Mega Colossal damage on the 18 key, and greatly raises attack on the 18 key. That's insane. And gains 18% attack for every orb he gets. And anytime he grabs an orb, he's getting an extra key from it. So any strength orb, AGL orb, rainbow orb, 2 key. Intelligence Orbs, 3 key. So doing his 18 keys is very, very easily. Unfortunately, like it was said for Goten and Trunks, no defense. None. No defense at all, which is ridiculous. And hence why his Extreme Z Awakening makes him so much better, because then they give him 58% defense. They give him an additional 58% defense when he super attacks, and he raises his defense on his 12 and 18 key. So pretty much all his issues they corrected with his Extreme Z Awakening, but Global still has him pre-EZA. He's still really, really bad in any kind of difficult content. You will get killed very easily. Alongside of the Majin Vegeta. Yes, Majin Vegeta will get killed in difficult content because he also has no defense whatsoever before his Z Awakening. He's able to do a lot of damage, right? Mega Colossal on his 12 key. He's got that, 15% chance to stun, I believe it is. 20% chance to stun. And then on his 18 key, it's an AoE attack. It's only Colossal damage, but it's an AoE attack, and it's also got that chance to stun. And then 150% attack when he's super. So he's going to be able to do decent damage, and his links aren't bad. But again, no defense. He will get absolutely clobbered, whether it's Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, GT Legendary Goku event, the Legendary Vegeta event will eventually get. Now, when they EZA him, he becomes a lot better. All of a sudden, 150% defense. Oh, that's pretty good, right? That ain't bad. So this guy gets a lot better. He's still a little wonky when he gets his Extreme Z Awakening. I'm not really a huge fan of his kit, but before his kit, I mean, he looks cool, don't get me wrong, like gorgeous unit, but no defense will get you killed very easily. And then let's continue this theme, right? Now, these next two, I will say this, these next two have a smaller chance of getting you killed. All right? Next will be Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Now, you can play him in a way where he'll have like 100-something thousand defense, right? 130,000, 140,000 defense. You can do that. You can play him that way. But that means that you would just have to 12 key super tech all day long. And at that point, he would have 0% defense, or 0% offense. Just no offense whatsoever if you're playing him doing 12 key super techs. And you're probably asking me, okay, why would you play him like that? Why wouldn't you try to go for 18 key super techs? It's because he loses the majority of his defense when he does his 18 key super attack. So he starts with 120% defense. And if he does a 12 key super, he keeps that, which is fine, right? He's also got a 20% chance to stun. Okay, that's fine. You do his 18 key, it's greatly lowering defense. Yeah, it's whatever, it's not that particularly great. But he gains 180% attack when he does his 18 key. So you're like, wait, why wouldn't you 18 key then? All day, every day. Well, why are you denying it? It's because he subtracts 70% defense from that 120. Now, keep in mind, it's not just a normal subtraction, okay? It's not just a normal subtraction. He's actually dropping down to 30% defense because the passive skill is calculated separately. So he goes from 120% defense to 30% defense, which just isn't enough. Like I said with with the Goten and Trunks, if they're doing an 18 key 70% of the time, they're only having 30% defense. It's just not enough. You get absolutely murdered. And then if you're keeping the 12 keys and you're doing 120% defense, you're doing no offense. Like, you're just tickling. So why bring him, right? Hence why he's here. And then last but not least, we're going to throw Physical Trunks on here as well. Now, why is that? For a long time, I've ranked him higher, but unfortunately, he's got the big problem where the stats look appealing, and in practice, it gets you killed. So his 12 and 18 key both raise his defense by 30% for 3 turns. Now, that seems like a lot. Whoa, 3 turns? What the? That's a ton, dude. That's crazy. That's insane, right? But if you actually look at it, okay, 3 turns. That means he shows up. He super attacks. He gains 30% defense. Fantastic. Next turn goes around. He's back next turn, right? So turn 1, he comes back. Turn 2, or the next rotation is turn 2. And then he comes back turn 3. He's sitting at 30% defense. Okay, he supers again. Whoa, now he's at 60% defense. Big whoop. Wow, that's really great. Next turn, the defense falls off. he shows back up again, he's still just at 30% defense. He has to build it back up. So at most, at the very most, if he doubles super attacks, both rotations before he gets hit, he'll be at 120% defense. That is theoretically the best he can do. And I'm going to tell you right now, the chances of him quadruple doing 4 super attacks is very, very, very low. All right? It's very low. Unless if you're just like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go all additional. Which you can, by the way. This guy's got 50% crit. So you can go all additional. But majority of the time, you're going to get 3 super attacks in those 2 turns. And so you'll be sitting at about 90% defense max. And at the end of the day, that's just not enough. Now, he still does okay damage, 120% attack, which I like. But again, not reliable in difficult content, because a lot of times you'll go into rotations where you try to super attack. You're not able to because the other guy kills the unit. And now you come back around and then boom, you get hit before you're able to super. You're dead. There you go. End of the run, which sucks. So that is why physical Trunks, I'm sorry, my guy, you are on the farmer with a shotgun tier. So let's move up to the Master Roshi tier, and we are going to start off with Beerus and Whis, Global Harmony through Destruction. Now, I will tell you this about Global, or about this particular unit on Global. They can be made to look very good, okay? You can put a ton of support alongside this guy on certain teams, Realm of God specifically, and make him look very impressive. The unfortunate thing is he can look extremely mediocre very easily if the team isn't built around him. And the reason are because some of his links are extremely wonky, particularly the Connoisseur or the Innocence, or even things like Godly Power, right? There's only certain units that are going to have that. And he's really somebody that needs a lot of ki. Now, he's got Shocking Speed, which is good. 2 ki, he's going to get a lot from there. Connoisseur is not going to get you anything like that. Innocence is just attack. Prodigies is attack as well. Godly Powers is fantastic, but no ki there either. So with just the 1 ki link, he may struggle to get his 12 ki or his 18 ki super attack, and that's pretty annoying because you are going to want that Mega Colossal damage and that 12% HP recovery, which is really nice. Another thing to note is that his defense can be a massive liability. He starts with 80% attack, which is great, and once he gets hit, he gains 60% attack and defense for 5 turns, but that's just 60% defense. And in, again, difficult content, he's going to get destroyed. And then what happens if 5 turns pass and you don't get hit? Well, then your defensive bonus falls off, and the next time you get hit, you're going to get absolutely demolished, which is going to be a huge problem. So, hence why he is down in the Master Roshi tier and not any higher. Next up on the Master Roshi tier, well, the old bunny head looking dude, like, what is going on with his hair right now, Trunks? Come on. Mai's got a better style than you right now. Also, he looks kind of like Negan with this. It looks like he's got a bat here and he's got the scarf. Anyway, Trunks and Mai, hopes and promises for the future. They have an interesting kit. Let's just put it like that. They have an interesting kit. Unfortunately, it's difficult to actually get it to work, and they're very pigeonholed in what teams they can be ran in, and they're similar to the tech hit, where the content that you want to bring them in is the most dangerous content for them, if that makes sense. So they're 12 ki colossal damage, 30% chance to stun. They're 18 ki mega colossal damage, 50% chance to stun. They start with 70% attack and defense. They only gain 70% attack. Let me take that back. 70% attack, and they only gain an additional 10% attack and defense if they have time travelers on the team. That caps at 70% attack and defense. So without time travelers on the team, if they're for whatever reason on joint forces or revenge or battle of wits, and you don't have a time traveler, characters on the team, then they have no defense. at all, which is a little weird. 6 key and 50% chance of dodge if they're facing a future saga enemy. So again, they're pigeonholed not only on the teams that they can be placed on, but the enemies that they will be facing, because if they're not on a time traveler's team and they're not facing future saga, well, then they're going to have almost no defense whatsoever and no chance to mitigate damage. Of course, they do have the stun, which is great for Super Battle Road and Extreme Super Battle Road, but if you're trying to run them on anything besides those specific SBRs, Time Travelers, Future Saga, stuff like that, you're just going to have a really, really rough time. And then last but not least, their links are a little wonky. Brainiacs, Cold Judgment, Courage, Dismal Future, which for the most part is like a villain link, right? If we go ahead and take a look at it, you're going to see some Trunkses, some Mai's, but you're going to see a lot of villains with it, as well as you can see a lot of Rosés and things of that nature. So kind of wonky, Trunks and Mai. But let's move on, because there's another unit on here that I absolutely love, but again, their kit nowadays a little wonky, and that's going to be Goku Black and Zamasu. So you have the Rose and the earring wearing boy himself, 12 key, raising defense by 30% for 3 turns. Now here's the difference between them and the physical Trunks. Their 18 key raises defense by 30% for 6 turns. 6 turns is actually doable. 6 turns is actually viable. That's where you start getting some okay-ish defensive numbers. It's not going to be anything particularly fantastic, but it's going to be okay-ish. Now, everything else is not bad, right? 50% recovery at the start of turn. I actually really love that. I love that. So if you take damage at the previous turn, you're going to come in, heal a bunch. That's fantastic. His link set is God tier for those type of, extreme future units, extreme Patara units, Realm of God units, Future Saga units, Time Traveler units, right? But what you do have to take a look at is his attack. It goes up to 120%, but it starts at just 30, and you have to get hit for it to increase, which sucks because, again, his defense isn't good, particularly to start off with. So, I'm just going to keep re-emphasizing, a lot of these earlier picks, a lot of these earlier LRs on this list are just going to be very, very susceptible to damage early on, hence why they are down on this tier. If we keep going, listen, the lesson, if you haven't learned it already, you're going to learn it by the end. LR Full Power Frieza, great offense, starts off okay, gets better over time. Terrible defense, right? 12 key, Mega Colossal, but sacrifices 8% HP, which is really weird, but it's for his passive, right? His 18 key greatly raises attack and does Mega Colossal as well, which is fantastic. But you look at his passive skill and you're just like, okay, I see what they were doing here, but it just doesn't really work. So 80% attack and defense, gives himself 2 key, and every time he drops HP, he gets stronger. So if you drop below 90% HP, you gain another 1 key and 10% attack. Drop below 70% HP, you gain another 2 key and 20% attack. Go below 50% HP, again, same thing. 2 more key, 20% more attack. And then if you drop below 30% HP, you're guaranteed to crit, and you give yourself the last 2 key and 20% attack. Now, at the end of the day, that's what, 20, 40, 60, 70, 70 on top of the 80. You're looking at, what, 150? Yeah, that's okay. 150% attack. Yeah, that's pretty good on LR stats. Don't get me wrong. That's solid. He's going to be doing good numbers, and guaranteed crits is pretty solid. But you're going to be below 30% HP, which is 80% defense. And if you're not 18 keying, you're going to be losing 8% HP every single time. So you'll drop down to 22. And then you'll drop down to, what, 14? Yeah, that's dangerous. That is dangerous, okay? And then the next one, you'll drop down to 6% HP. Like, that is extreme. Now, he can't kill himself. You'll just drop down to like 1 HP. So you can't actually just drain your own HP. But that is dangerous, where to get him at his strongest, you are pretty much guaranteeing death, is essentially what's happening. So that is why he is on the Master Roshi tier. Next up, I love this card, but man, oh man, are you going to have trouble using them. The Goku, Pan, and Trunks, obviously the GT Trio goes here. Now, this is one of those units that is better than I feel like they're better than what they're painted as, right? So 12 key raises defense by 33%. 18 key Mega Colossal raises defense by 33% for 3 turns. Their passive, 77% attack and defense when they're super attacking, and then they gain an additional 77% attack when it's an Ultra Super attack. And then Dragon Ball Seekers give them 1 key, right? Every single Dragon Ball Seekers, which is good. The problem is there's just not many Dragon Ball Seekers. There's not many good GT hero characters. Like, yes, there's more than what there was before, but there's still not enough. And so he's kind of a unit that just doesn't get a lot of love from categories and characters in the game. I think he will look a little bit better in the future, but I've been saying that for like a year now. And yeah, they've come out like the GT Vegeta and the GT Goku, but that's about it, right? So eventually he's just going to get to the point where the defense is not going to be enough. Like, his defense at the moment is barely enough, right? 77% defense, and then gains another 33%, and he can somewhat mini stack, barely, right? Even on the 18 key, it's barely. But he can have a little bit of okay-ish defense. He'll get into the 100,000s, maybe even touch 200,000 if he's lucky. But as we've seen in some really, really difficult content, that is not even enough, which is crazy to say. Let's keep moving with the last unit on the Master Roshi tier, and it's gotta be, some people get mad at me for saying this, some people are excited about it, Vegeta and Nappa. Rampaging Vicious Saiyans, Nappa Vegeta. I will tell you this right here. This unit here, this guy right here, Nappa, to me, he is like the epitome of Master Roshi tier. He is the epitome of the Master Roshi tier, right? 78% attack and defense, 5 key when HP is 78% or more. And then 12 key raises attack and defense for 1 turn. 18 key greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn. Causes Mega Colossal damage to enemy and greatly lowers defense. This isn't bad, right? It's not bad. It's not fantastic. He's not going to be doing impressive damage at all. His defense isn't going to be particularly good either. It's just like passable, right? His offense and defense is passable in this. Did you notice that I didn't say the bottom half of his passive? It's because it sucks. It's actually trash. It's some of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. So, additional 78% attack if he dodges that turn. Okay. He must have dodge in his passive, right? Or he's an intelligence unit, so he's going to have free dodge. No. All right, that's weird. So he's just never going to get that. And then he gains more attack and defense for every unit that he's facing. Oh, snap. It's like what? 78%? That's crazy. No. It's 7,800. 7,800. Is this a free-to-play unit? Like, what? That's nothing. That's actually a joke. You won't even notice a difference if you're facing like 6, right? It's just the numbers are so inconsequential. It's hilarious. Now, people are going to say, wait. Why are you making fun of the dodging thing, man? He's got an active skill, brother. He's got an active skill, okay? You only got to wait 3 turns, and then he can guarantee dodge. He can guarantee dodge, and so he's going to gain that 78% attack. No, he's not. Because when you pop that active skill, you lower your own attack by 50%. You lower it. And so, oh, man. I don't even want to finish. It's just awful. It's actually awful. Now, if you wait 4 turns and you drop below 50% HP, you can turn into Vegeta. This Vegeta, honestly, would probably be up in like the King Kai tier. Maybe even higher. This guy's awesome. 12 key raises attack and defense for 1 turn. 18 key greatly raises attack and defense and lowers defense massively. So that's when it's actually somewhat noticeable. Also, when you transform, you gain 50% HP, which is great. 3 key, 100% attack and defense. Gives himself an additional 3 key and 18% attack and defense if he's facing only 1 enemy. 3 key, 18% attack and defense if he's facing a super class enemy. And then if he gets 24 key, attacks effective against all type, which is similar to the Turles, right? LR Strength Turles. So at that point, this guy's actually pretty good. The problem is his links are a little wonky, over 9,000, right? You're going to have a tough time finding that. But Royal Lineage, Prodigy, Saiyan Warrior Race, Shattering the Limit, not going to be too hard to find with most Vegetas. Maybe Shattering the Limit is a little tricky, but Legendary Power, obviously, you're going to be able to find with other units as well. But this guy's great, but man, this guy's it's just so dumb. So dumb, actually tilting. Let's move up to the King Yemma tier. All right, so let's go into the King Yemma tier, and the first one that we're going to drop in this section is going to be the Android Trio, 17, 18, and then obviously exchanging into 16. Now, a lot of people absolutely hate this card, but I'm not as upset with them as others are. Listen, they're lowering attack and defense on both their 12 and 18 key. I do like units that lower attack. That's always good. 78% attack and defense, 1 key. If your HP is above 66%, they do have a 30% chance to dodge, which is not bad. And then they're also an Android support, 2 key and 40% attack, which is solid. Like overall, that's not bad, right? That's not terrible. It's not as bad as some people say. 78% does absolutely suck, and they could get hit really hard, but then they do have the damage mitigation, the damage avoidance with that 30% dodge, as long as they're over 66% HP. And then at the end of the day, they're a support. And, you know, that's always good. I always put a lot of value in characters that boost up others. Now, with their exchange condition, they do have an interesting one. Can be activated when HP is 66% or less with 2 Android category allies on the team. Or you can pop it at any time when you're facing Cell. Obviously, the second condition is going to be more difficult because there's a lot less cells in the game, but the first one, not that bad. You don't have to wait that long. And then when he turns into Android 16, he's essentially like Jiren at that point. LR Jiren greatly raises defense on his 12 key, still lowering attack and defense. 18 key, greatly raising attack. This time he's sacrificing 6% HP, but his passive 6 key, 200% attack and defense, 50% chance to crit. Launches an additional super attack if there's an Android Cell Saga enemy, which there's a decent amount. You know, you have your Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2 Gohans, your Super Saiyan Gokus, Super Vegetas, Super Saiyan Vegetas, Super Trunks, Super Saiyan Trunks, the Piccolos, all the androids, all the cells, right? So at the end of the day, it's not terrible. Not a terrible condition there that you'll be able to launch the super attacks. But unfortunately, this is only for 3 turns, which absolutely is stupid. It's just really, really dumb. But again, I'm not as, you know, hateful on these characters as some people are. Next up, besides the androids, is Int God Goku. Now, I am not as hype as some people are on this unit, because I think he's kind of like the Trunks and Mai, where he has to be on certain teams, and he doesn't have a lot of flexibility. So, 12 key, greatly raises attack and defense. 18 key, greatly raises attack and defense for 3 turns, which is decent, right? Also greatly lowers defense on the enemy. It's decent. It's for 3 turns, so it's not going to be absolutely spectacular, but it's better than nothing, right? It is a little misleading because people think like, oh, 3 turns, this defense is going to be astronomical. No, he still gets hit really, really hard. Now, his passive makes up for it on short events, right? For the first 7 turns, he's got a 50% chance to dodge and crit, which is really good. So that makes him really viable for Super Battle Road. Now, you may get bad RNG and take that super turn 1, right? And you'll be like, yeah, all right, this guy absolutely sucks. But it's a 50% chance at the end of the day. He also gives himself 77% attack. Now, here's the issue that I have with him. You gain 1 key up to 5 and 11% defense up to 55. Only 55 for every Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyan category on the team. So if you're running him on something like Realm of God, right? Or even, I'm pretty sure Miraculous Awakening or Legendary Existence. Let's just take a look at some of those teams. No, this is, yeah, I mean, I guess if you mix some cells in there, Legendary Existence, I know there's a lot of different units that aren't Saiyans that you can put on that team. And then particularly Realm of Gods, if you're trying to run like Beeruses and Whis and Vados and, you know, some of these other support units, Kai of Time, that eats up into the defense. That eats up into defense because he needs 5 of these bad boys. He needs 5 of them to cap his defensive bonus, and the defensive bonus sucks. 55% is terrible. So after 7 turns, at max, you'll be at 55%. If you have some supports that aren't Saiyans, you'll be at like 33%. You're gonna get absolutely destroyed. So that's my big beef with Int God Goku. Moving along, man, some people absolutely hate this unit. I love this card. The problem is he just can't be used because he's on 2 categories: movie bosses and joint forces. And his links are absolutely atrocious. But even with that said, he can still look impressive. That's the crazy thing about this card. If you bring an Orb Changer next to him, he's ridiculous. So, greatly raises defense on his 12 key and lowers attack. 18 key greatly raises attack and defense. Mega Colossal. He gives himself 15% attack and defense per orb, right? He gives himself an additional 5% attack and defense and 2 key. 2 key. If he's grabbing 2 physical orbs, at least 2, right? So grabs at least 2 physical orbs. He's 20% attack and defense, and he's grabbing 4 key per physical orb. That's ridiculous. If he grabs at least 2 AGL or strength orbs, he gives all allies 39% attack. If he grabs at least 2 tech or intelligence orbs, all allies 39% defense. And then if he grabs any 7 orbs, guaranteed dodge. 100% dodge for that turn. Bruh. Like, what? His kit is like one of the craziest in the games. It honestly is. If you have like orb changers next to him, it's honestly one of the craziest kits in the game. But because he's not Goku, he's not Vegeta, he's not Trunks, he's not Gohan. Hell, he's not even Goku Black or Zamasu, right? He's not Broly. Well, he is Broly, but he's not Broly by himself. He's got stupid links like Brainiacs. And Cold Judgment coming out of nowhere. And solid support, right? So in actuality, you can put him next to some good, you can put him next to a Broly and probably get like big bad bosses, shocking speed, fierce battle, legendary power. That'll be fine. But you can only put him next to a Broly on like a movie bosses team. Can't put him next to him on a joint forces. Can't put him on pure Saiyans. Can't put him on planetary destruction or anything like that. So it's just really frustrating how neutered this guy is, even though he's legitimately has like one of the craziest kits in the game. It's really frustrating to see. Anyway, next up, let's keep it moving with Physical Cell and Cell Juniors. This guy's still solid. 12 key, attacks all, recovers 10% HP, which is great. 18 key, raises attack for 1 turn, only attacking 1 person, Mega Colossal. 90% attack and defense, and then gains 1 key and 10% attack for every enemy. He can do a lot of damage. He gets health back, particularly with his 12 key and his links. Remember that he does have, which one is it? Ultimate Life Form? Yeah, Ultimate Life Form, 2 key, recovers 3% HP and 10% attack and defense. If you have 3 characters with Ultimate Life Forms on that rotation, then you're actually gaining 9% HP back plus the 10, so that's a potential of 19% HP just off of that one rotation. So that's really good, right? Also, when he's facing a lot of enemies, he can do a lot of damage, particularly with the AoE. That's really, really solid. Links up incredibly well with other cells. That's great. The downside is obviously the defense, only 90%. Not really that great. Even next to like a LR Intelligence Cell, he'll be like in the 150s, 160s. He can still get killed pretty easily on really difficult content. Next up, AGL Baby, and I'm kind of just hammering the same points home, right? 100% attack and defense. That defense could let you down on certain content, right? Again, somebody that's only going to be in the 100,000s of defense, but if he's facing pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans, his offense more than makes up for it, right? 12 key lowers attack, 18 key lowers attack and defense, and then Mega Colossal gives himself that 3 key, gives himself an additional 3 key and 50% attack, whether it's pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans. And if it's both, then it's 6 key, 100% attack and defense, which is, or just an extra 100% attack, which is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. And then, of course, you have the Giant Ape form, which is good because he can there's no turn requirement for this, right? You just have to drop below 40% HP, and then he's got a 50% chance. Flip a coin, and then boom, he'll turn into the giant ape. He gives himself an extra 1 key for every orb he grabs, which is good because then you can pop super attacks very easily. 18 key, greatly raises attack for 1 turn, does destructive damage, all that fun stuff, right? But yeah, this guy is really solid. Again, the point that I want to make here on Farmer with a Shotgun tier, Master Roshi tier, and King Yemma tier is all 3 of these tiers, the units are let down by their defense at the end of the day. All the other things that they do does not overcome the fact that their defense will let you down in certain events. And so, it's just not good enough to outweigh that, in my opinion. And that's why I have Tech Broly in the King Yemma tier as well. And some people are going to get pissed. Some people are going to get absolutely triggered by this. But hey, man, this is my opinion, that in his first form here, right, he's only got 90% defense. And that's only when he's super attacking. So if he gets hit first, 0 defense, you will just die. Even after you super attack and you gain that 90% defense, you can still get killed because his defense is only going to be like 120k, right? It's just not that good. Now his offense is incredible. He's absolutely insane in his offense, right? Absolutely insane. Gives himself an additional 50% attack when he's doing a super. Or when he's doing an 18 key. That 18 key is going to lower enemies' defense greatly. Also do a Mega Colossal. His 12 key only lowers enemies' defense. If he's facing 2 or more enemies, he's launching an additional super, but that's not even that important, right? This form can do some damage, but it's not crazy. It's after 4 turns, he just transforms into the legendary Super Saiyan. And at this point, he's still very susceptible to getting hurt, right? He's only at 100% defense, and that's only when he supers. So that's still not good, but his offense is even better now, right? Because now his 12 keys greatly lowering defense, his 18 key Mega Colossal and massively lowering defense. He's giving himself an additional 88% attack when he ultras. He's guaranteeing launching an additional attack. It's got a 30% chance to becoming a super when he's facing 1 enemy, and then guaranteed super attack when facing 2 or more enemies. And then he's got the insane active skill that you can pop at any time after he transforms. 24 key, 48% attack. So his offense is legendary, but again, susceptible to damage, just like all the other units on these tiers. Let's move up to the King Kai tier. And again, these units have ways to protect their weaknesses. And that is like written all over this Golden Frieza and Android 17. Definitely a character that tries to protect its weaknesses, right? So 12 key greatly raises attack. 18 key raises attack for 1 turn, lowers attack and defense, does Mega Colossal, starts with just 70% attack and defense. And again, I was just criticizing units that have that much, but this is a unit that stacks, right? Gives himself an additional 77% attack and defense every time he attacks. Gives himself 1 key every time he attacks. That caps at 70% and 7 key. Also has a 70% chance to do 2 additional attacks every turn. So building that extra attack and defense is easy because he has the potential of doing 4 attacks per turn, right? Normal attack, 70% chance to do the 2 follow-up attacks, and then whatever your hidden potential percentage is to do a hidden potential additional. So you can potentially do 4 attacks and get 28% attack and defense in that turn, 4 key in that turn, and then be very close to getting that 70% cap and that 7 key cap, which is great. Now, also, for every time they attack, again, you can do up to 4. You gain 7% crit and 7% damage reduction. So again, if you're attacking 4 times, you can get up to 28% crit and 28% damage reduction. Now, obviously, that's not going to be the norm, but if you're gaining that, the majority of the time, you will be doing 3 attacks. And so the majority of the time, you will have 21 crit and 21 damage reduction. And again, crit, you're not even counting what's in the hidden potential system with your skill, the skill orbs and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind, right? His active skill is also fantastic. It is a little annoying to get, but it is helped a bit by, his passive. If you're able to launch additional super attacks, that's great, because once you do 4, 7 key, 77% defense, guaranteed crit for that one turn. So again, a great character that has wonky start. Turn 1, little tricky, can get killed, but after that, covers up his weaknesses. He is in a great position. Next up, Bojack. So Intelligence Bojack has a best friend, Strength Bojack. They're match made in heaven. I have this man rainbowed, level 10 links, and next to Strength Bojack, he's doing 5-6 million attack stats, sitting at 200 to 300,000 plus defense. He's insane, and it's crazy because he doesn't even have an easy A yet. But 12 key colossal damage greatly lowers defense, 18 key mega colossal damage, and raises extreme allies attack by 40%. People forget this all the time. That 18 key raises the remaining rotation of extreme allies by 40%, which is insane. He gives himself 80% attack and defense. The more HP he has, the more attack he gets. He gains an additional 70% attack. The less HP he has, the more defense he gains, an additional 70%. So this is really good because at high HP levels, he's doing what you want to do, doing a lot of damage, right? Once you start taking damage, once you start taking those high hits, then he gets tankier. And so it prevents you from dying at that point. He can go beyond 300k defense. He can get to like 400k plus if you're really low on HP, right? So he won't be the reason that you die, which is great. The main problem with him is he's exclusive to Strength Bojack. If he ain't next to Strength Bojack, he ain't going to be looking, that spectacular. He's still going to be okay because of how his passive works and how his 18 key works, but those links aren't going to be active. Heraclan, Galactic Warriors, right? That's going to be a tough duo to get there. So next up, we're going to put them together, which is the 3-year anniversary units. So you have the Goku Vegeta, Gogeta, and Vegito. Now they essentially do the same thing with their 12 key, colossal damage, 12 key colossal damage, 18 key raises attack for 1 turn, raises attack for 1 turn, 120% attack and defense, gives themselves 3 key when they grab a rainbow orb. Same with this Gogeta here, right? Same exact thing. Same fusion condition, 6 turns, 50% or below HP, and then they'll fuse. Now they will be different. Now at this point, they are different cards. So 12 key, colossal damage, 18 key, mega colossal damage, and lowers attack and defense. Their passive, when you transform, completely recovers HP, attacks effective against all types, 150% attack and defense, and 4 key for every rainbow orb, which is absolutely spectacular. And then this Vegito, same 12 key, 18 key, mega colossal, raises allies attack, all allies, by 30% for that turn. Same HP recovery, same 150% attack and defense, same key, 4 key for rainbow, but they counter normal attacks with tremendous power. These guys are still absolutely insane, still fantastic defense, because at the end of the day, it's 150% to LR stats, which is incredible, and they're just really solid in pretty much all content in the game to this day. And the next 2 that I'm going to include, I'm going to put as a pair if I can actually click buttons, and it's going to be Goku and Vegeta. Shockingly, as you're probably noticing, the 3-year anniversary units are alongside the 4-year anniversary units on the same tier. And I do think I can back that up because these guys are incredible, all right? They're absolutely spectacular. But the main issue is that they have to build, okay? So Goku starts at 80% attack, 20% defense. Now, the good thing about this Goku is twofold. Number 1, his 12 key massively raises defense. So if he's able to get that super attack off before he gets hit, his defense will be good. He'll be solid, all right? He'll be in a good place. Not a great place, but a good place. And then every turn, he gains an additional 20% defense until he caps at 80%. Now, when he's at 80% and he super attacks and gains that additional 100% defense, he's in a good place, a much better place. Not the greatest place, but a doable place. And the fact that he's gaining 3 key on Rainbow Orbs and 4 key on AGL is spectacular. And the last thing I was going to mention, which was really the second thing for his defensive capabilities, is he got a 30% chance to dodge supers and then counter with tremendous power, which is great, right? His 18 key, which shouldn't be that difficult to get with him, massively raises attack and defense. So you're doing what you do with the 12 key, but you're adding attack into that, which is great. And then his passive skill, or his active skill, extremely easy to trigger. Wait 4 turns, massively raise your attack, and then just do ultimate damage, which is spectacular. His links are great with all Super Saiyan 4s. Now, the Vegeta works pretty much the same way, except they flip everything, right? So instead of AGL orbs, he's gaining more key for its strength orbs. Instead of starting with 80% attack, he's starting with 80% defense, and then he has to gain the attack. The problem with this guy is on his 12 key, he's massively raising his attack, which, okay, turn 1, you'll be able to do some decent damage, but your defense is going to suck because it's only going to be at 80%. Because only on your 18 key do you massively raise attack and defense. So he can get hit very, very hard, which is a problem. You do have to, make sure key isn't an issue for him. Have strength orbs, have orb changers, have rainbow orbs, whatever it is. But in terms of why I'm ranking them next to the 3-year anniversary units, well, the 3-year anniversaries start off with better stats, right? 120% across the board, and then they turn into 150, and they don't have to worry about super attacking first to gain that additional bonus. They can just get hit and be good. They also have that great transformation mechanic where you get all your health back, and then honestly, they're pretty much on the level of the Super Saiyan 4s in their transformed state, in my opinion. Next up is going to be a bit of a controversial pick. Some people may think he's lower, but I think he does belong on the King Kai tier, and that is going to be Rose Goku, Mark of Almighty Power. Now, I did talk about, hey, defense, 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 all right? I've mentioned it many times before. Now, what this guy does, in my opinion, makes him barely usable to be on this category. I'm talking about he's towing the line of being on this category. 66% attack and defense. That's not enough. That is not enough. But what saves him is the fact that his 12 and 18 key greatly raise defense. So at that point, your defense will be in the 100,000+, closing on 200k, particularly if you're super attacking twice, then you will be fine. But if he gets hit beforehand, he gets absolutely destroyed. I just wanted to let you know that. Now, what sets him apart from a lot of other units is twofold. Number one, his key mechanic is extremely interesting. So in case you don't know, every time his key meter raises by 1, like the Angel Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, every time his key meter raises, he gains 6%. And that caps at an additional 120% attack. Let's see if that's actually calculated separately. It is. So if he's at, 22 key, I believe it is, 20 key, which is not insane, right? If he's at 20 key, doesn't even have to be 24. At 20 key, he'll be at 265% attack. So this man at 55% does 5-6 million attack stats, right? And nowadays, that's like, that's nothing. But keep in mind, this guy came out almost 2 years ago, all right? Back then, it was just like, what? What's happening here? What's going on? This is insane, right? He also has an interesting mechanic where if he's able to kill the enemy, then he gives himself an additional 2 key up to 6. It's kind of like what they did with the strength, Goku Black, the Zamasu character. He also has an interesting mechanic where when he gets hit, you recover 6% HP at the end of the turn, which is fine. But this is the second thing that does kind of elevate him into this stature, and I also like for defensive purposes. If you drop below 66% HP, all right, and 6 turns have passed, then you can rage into this form. And in this form, You gain additional ki for every orb you grab, attacks effective against all types, and you do destructive damage while not taking any damage in return, which is absolutely spectacular. It could definitely save you on certain runs, and that's why I do have LR Rose up there in the King Kai tier. And I have one more character in the King Kai tier, and that's going to be Android 17. So Ceremony and Revenge Super 17 is up in the King Kai tier, the highest tier out of the worst 25 LRs on Global Dokkan Battle. 12 ki raises attack for that one turn, also lowers defense. 18 ki greatly lowers defense, does mega colossal damage. He sits at 170% attack and defense, which is really nice. If he's got androids attacking in the same turn, he gains 17% attack and defense per, right? Which is that's not bad at all. So 34% attack and defense on top of his 170. That's pretty good. On top of that, for every target Goku ally attacking in the same turn, he gains another 17% attack and defense. Last but not least, he reduces damage by 17%, plus an additional 17% attack for 3 turns after he gets hit. He's also got a 50% chance of giving himself 1 ki every time he gets hit, which is really, really cool. He's also got an active skill. That active skill can be activated after he is hit 7 times, which I'm going to keep it a buck with you. That's one of the reasons why he's not higher. That active skill condition is horrendous. But what he ends up doing is he does ultimate damage and lowers attack and defense by 17% on the enemy, which is good. That is really, really solid. I do like that a lot. But he's very wonky. When he's on his team with all those conditions there, he's at 300,000 defense, doing ridiculous damage. He can't be touched. You know, damage reduction, 18 keys flying left and right. Just absolutely incredible, right? If he's not on Android teams, Target Goku teams, like for example, check out his categories, right? Androids, artificial life forms, Target Goku, Inhuman Deeds, Power Absorption, GT bosses. GT bosses, Inhuman Deeds, Power Absorption, Target Goku, and artificial life forms all can be run with minimal androids on the team. So if you put them on any of those teams and it's not stacked with androids or Target Goku units, like Majin Buu's on artificial life forms and things like that, right? Then you can be in trouble because his defense will only get in the 100,000s and his offense ain't going to look too good. But putting him on those Android teams, those Target Goku teams, which there's a lot of units you can use, right? If we look at androids and we look at Target Goku, there's a lot of characters, right? There's a lot of units on these teams. So you can definitely combine these two categories and make a solid squad and have him really, really shine. But because he's kind of pigeonholed in there, I can only put him on the King Kai tier and no higher. Guys, that is the first half. This is part 1 of the September LR tier list for global. As you can see, these are the worst 25 LRs in the game. Next, you will be watching the best 25 LRs in the game in part 2. If you want to see that video, only one way to do it, man. You got to keep it locked here. You can do so by clicking that blue join button, become a Boomer champion like Joe V, or gently rub that sub button, gingerly ring that bell button, lovingly kiss the like button. As always, this is Periodic. See y'all in the next video.